My name's Will, I'm 18 and my dad makes robots.
I'm Andy. I've been building robots since I was about 12. I got a toy robot when I was 3, 4 and decided at some point I'd have to build a full-size one, which are the ones you see behind me here. Getting a Planet robot when I was 3, 4 years old, I was scared stiff of it because it walked like a person, but it sparked and there was a grill and it was all a bit freaky, so I was scared stiff. But I think being scared back then led me to just fall in love with them. I remember saying to my dad, where the hell do these things come from? And he said, caves in Japan. And that was me sold. I've been intrigued ever since, really. The toy I got when I was 3 or 4 was one of these, Planet robot, made by a Japanese company, Yoshia KO. I just fell in love with the way it is, the way it looks, the way it sounds, the smell of the oil inside, because it's clockwork, it's all lightly lubricated with gorgeous smelling sweet oil.
I think the classic robots, they have the correct looks and they do what I'd expect a robot to do. Unlike the newer robots, which just are like humans, they can talk extremely fluently, they don't have any, say, times they need to think, but a classic robot does. They have more mechanical things that you can see, unlike newer ones, which it's all sort of under the skin.
By chance, when I was probably 8, 9, 10, saw Forbidden Planet, the beautiful film by MGM, made in 1956, and realised that this robot, my love, was really based on this robot, Robbie the robot. With having a Planet robot from such a young age, and of course you'd be on the floor with it and it would be up here and you'd watch it walk. As I grew bigger, the robot shrank and became less significant to me. So I decided that it had to be big again. And the only way I could have a big one again was to build a full-size one, a life-size one, which would be take me back to being 3 years old, effectively. Loving robots from such a young age and wanting my own for all my life, and unable to buy one because there were none available, I realised I had to build my own, which would mean I'd have to teach myself every single aspect of building it, from fabrication to using fiberglass to electromechanical design and electronics. So I used to scour bookshops for books on electronics and fiberglassing, and I just picked it all up myself and stuck at it and persevered, and that really was it. No education towards any of it, to be honest. Everything I learnt at school was useless, so taught myself, simple as that.
Over the years, I've watched my dad making what he's making, all the robots. I've been able to build my own things like this, like parts of the blue one behind me.
Right, so here's a Planet robot you've probably seen before. He's a Zeroid. This one's called Zobor. There were 3 of these made by the Ideal Toy Company back in 1968, but they were only so big. So of course, again, I had to make them my size in order to be 3 years old again. This one's in white gel coat. It's the first one from the plugs. You make plugs out of plastic, aluminium, foam, whatever you can, and then you take moulds off and then you make this in the moulds. It's in white gel coat because it's got to be painted. Another Planet robot here, this is a Talker with a dome turn. Here's some of the electronics exposed, and here is his mate. This is another Zeroid. Same group of robots made in '68 by Ideal. The most detailed robots there were to date, and probably there still are the most detailed toy robots ever made. So here's the moulds. We've talked about the plugs, and you make moulds off the plugs get destroyed. Here's a mould, and this is a Planet robot torso mould. You can probably see the arm balls in there. So inside this you put a gel coat, which is the outer skin, as you can see. And then inside that, once that's gone off, you back it up with fiberglass, which makes it rigid and strong. And as you can see here, I've got a Dalek shoulder section, and that's the white gel coat in there. And that's ready for me to go along and lay in fiberglass to make it solid, and then eventually we'll unbolt it, pull it apart, and you'll have a perfect Dalek shoulder section, which then has to be painted. Unlike the Planet robots, which are all made in tinted gel coat, that's the actual colour that you put in. So all kinds of people fancy using one of these robots. Shops, exhibitions, displays at museums, art galleries. I've got quite a few in this country, and then across Europe there are quite a few, but over in America there are more, and I've got them in Singapore, Shanghai, Taiwan. None in Japan yet, which is a real shame because that's their country of origin originally. And each one of these people has a different use for it. They can be in houses. I've got one in a cave house in Spain. I've got them in antique shops. You'll find them up and down high streets, but you know, you'd have to go searching.